almost forgot. I made you guys a promise that I would come back and discuss something else from this Canada Games example that we did. First of all, one thing I forgot, this class 1, I just had the question, do we need it? No, I meant to show you how to utilize it if you wanted to. I'll do that in the next demo. So in the meantime, I can just delete it. I don't need it for anything, so I can just get rid of it. That cleans things up a little. Okay, the other thing I said I would talk about is all these summary properties that will be added into the athlete class. Notice that they only have getters, right? They only are read-only. They aren't properties we have a chance to set anyway. And you might have noticed, if you compare that to the actual code we have here in the view, we're always pulling from this view, v_athlete. Well, look at that. Here's a concatenation of the first name, middle, and last name as summary, right? Look at this. We have a little function, get age. Okay. By the way, the code for it's right here. Okay. I got it from this website, right? Simple. It's one of the many ways to calculate age, right? And away you go. So that's there already. So we have the age. And so, you know, there's a lot of repeated work happening here. We're doing this in the database view, and yet I'm putting it together in the client side. Not very efficient, right? But I left it this way on purpose so we could have this discussion, because the truth is I did these classes with a totally different database system the first time, right? And I had to do everything on the client side, so that's why I had this code in here. But you know, you could decide, okay, well, I called it something different, which is a shame. I called it full name here, and it's called summary in the database. So if I just match those up somehow, maybe change the view, call it full name, if I'm the only client using the database, I could get away with that, and then remove this expression, just have it a property with a setter. Same thing for age here, right? I could just use the work being done in the database and then clean up this class a little bit. This one, as we discussed earlier, no, I have to do this in the client side. This can't come from the database because there'll never be a record with 0 as the ID in the database, so there's no point having that there, right? So, you know, it's entirely up to you. You could decide where to have it. Maybe you'll simplify the view and keep it here. Is it right or wrong? Well, the only thing that's wrong is having it in both, really. You know, there's a situation where you might say, well, hey, the database, it's designed and optimized to work really fast with data, so why not leave it there, right? But, you know, there's probably not a hugely measurable difference in performance having it there versus the client side. I don't know. Depends on the situation. Also, it depends on how far away the database is from the front end, because if you think about it, you build these summary properties in the database that can easily be put together in the client side. You're increasing the bulk, the amount of data you're sending from the database to the client, right? You know, you need a bigger pipe to carry all that data, which really you can just reconstruct on the client side. So in many cases, you're often better to build these summary properties in the client. But I'm not going to stand on a pulpit and tell you one way or the other is wrong. Just avoid this situation where you're doing the work both times, right? No point sending all that data through the pipe down to the client if you're just reconstructing it here anyway. All right, so I'll leave that discussion at that for now, and we're going to go on to our next demo, but I'll stop and start the recording before I do. Any questions?
Yeah. What does part length do?
What is?
Part length. Under the date of birth. Part length. What does it do?
On the return line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, pad left. Oh, it pads spaces in front, so it takes up 3 spaces, and if there's only one character, it'll put 2 spaces in front. If there's 2 characters, it'll put 1 space in front, right? Just because we're going to show it on the screen, and I wanted it to be right aligned, right? The numeric integer value of the age, right? So if they're 10, it'll line up. Okay, yeah, good question though. Yeah, that was about pad left. All right. Okay.